Welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. Today we have Shark Quest, the hunt for the apex predator. No aliens this time, just sharks. This is a two-part documentary series from National Geographic. Each episode are 44 minutes long each. It's from 2025, so it's fairly recent. It's probably from the last Sharkorama, whatever they call it. It's the Shark Fest that they have on National Geographic, and as a result, because they're both owned by Disney Plus. So on Disney Plus, I think if this series somehow lasts all the way to August, when Shark Fest usually happens, I'm going to figure out what's contained within that Shark Fest and just watch one of them, maybe, or not at all. This could be my very last shark thing. I know there's a Jaws documentary. And there might be something about Jaws versus something else. I don't know. Jaws? I want to know. No, I think we are almost completely done. I think this could have been our last shark. I'm at the point now where I have so few items in this list that I can look at all of them and go, yeah, no more sharks. And I can say, no more sharks. This might be, unless there's any added in the next quarter, or if I make it all the way to August. Man, I think I just watched my last shark documentary. That's kind of great. I watched at least a piece of every single shark documentary. There is an episode, by the way, where after I said no more shark documentaries, because there were so many of them, due to Shark Fest or whatever, that I just forbade them from being selected because I was getting 2 or 3 a week. Nobody wanted that. Nothing wrong with sharks. They're cool, but I didn't want to do sharks. I wanted to do Disney. So I got rid of them, and then I just did them all as part of my 1500th episode. Nobody should watch that episode. It's long. It's the longest episode I've ever done, and it's just me watching 5 minutes of something like 60 different shark things, and then coming back and saying, this is about sharks. Yeah. No. Okay, but anyway, this one actually was kind of interesting. I learned some stuff, too. It's, the first episode is called Close Calls, and the second one is called Hotspots. And by the titles, you can pretty much figure out what they're all about. But Close Calls goes through a series of people sharing some personal, in-the-moment video of what had happened. And it's not sensationalistic. It's not done in a you won't believe what happened next kind of situation where they build up to the commercial break and then cut away really fast. And then they smash cut back into the thing after the commercial break would have happened if you were watching it on regular television, and then oh my gosh, let's play that whole thing again. It's just like puffing up the entire episode just to fill time. This is not like that. This is actually people who know sharks really well, and it's not just people producing a dramatic construction of something that was surely exciting, but sometimes they're really exaggerated. In this case, there are some scenes where people are just like, I'm a tourist. I'm in Mexico off the Baja Peninsula, and I'm going to go into the waters, and the shark slams into my cage. For some person, it gets in the cage, and then he kind of disappears. Nobody knows where he is, and he's outside the cage. He just sort of slipped through the bars instead of spending time with the shark in the cage. And it's a big shark, small cage. So he then somehow gets back and he's completely fine. There's another situation where the guy is just kayaking in some shallow waters off the shore, and a hammerhead just starts zipping around him so fast and you could see the whole thing. Then there's I think a tiger shark. You could see it just coming right at him from a distance and just slamming into the boat. Like, he makes a quick turn just as he gets to the boat, and it's not a small shark. It is these shots. There's so, like I said, so many shark documentaries, and I've seen so many sharks versus alligators, sharks versus orcas. Like, they over dramatize it in a way that just doesn't feel realistic. And these are realistic. They are real. They're pretty dang scary. And there's also another guy. He's out there. He's just sort of, I guess, snorkeling, or he's just underwater, and he's poking around at things, and shark comes right at him, starts knocking him around, and he thought he was going to have to sacrifice his arm to keep his body from being bitten. Like, if he holds it out, the shark might go for that before he would go for the body bite. He's thankfully survived. I've spoiled that for you, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. One guy just sort of got tackled. Like, I couldn't even see him underneath his air tank, and the shark is just kind of like right on top of him, and people are trying to punch the shark to get him away. There's actually some, again, I've seen so many documentaries. I've never seen these sequences before. That's how new this is. It's pretty nuts. One of the more interesting things is they had the one guy, I think his name is Dan Collier. He does this throughout the episode. They come back to him, and he gives commentary on each of these situations as to why they might have been attacked, why this shark, and what were the circumstances, and what could they have done differently. So he kind of gives this running commentary on a number of things, but he at the very end, he kind of does this sort of forensic research as to how these attacks are connected. He's like a shark detective. Make that a series right there. There you go, Shark Detective. He there was a sequence. I think, I don't know if it was where it was Mediterranean. Maybe I could be completely wrong. I might be making that up completely, but there was a sequence where a woman was her hand was bitten off, and then it went around and bit a good chunk of her butt off. That doesn't normally happen. They don't normally go for hands and butts. And why? Why? What was... It seems specifically targeted. And Dan Collier, he figures this out, and he looked at some situations where there were people giving demonstrations about sharks underwater and showing tourists or whoever it was what it was to feed them, to give them a shot at some special feeding moments. And it's apparent that the same sharks, or same type of sharks, who were in those feeding situations figured out that if you see somebody hold their hand out, there's going to be food there. And they always seem to get it from a fanny pack on their body, so it comes from their butt, near their butt. And so if you want more, you just go around the back and start biting there. You might get some fish. That's a little dang scary. They're smart. They are smart creatures. So yeah, it's better when you hear these guys tell it. Dan Nachtrub is the narrator. I'd watch the second one, but I don't want to ruin my reputation of watching shark stuff, but not all of it. But yeah, no, this was actually one of my favorite episodes so far. And yeah, it's very, shark information, shark history, shark details that you've probably heard a billion times before, but it also has stories I've never seen before and video footage of those things. Not just like hacked together archival footage from other shark, like from far away, or just they're not pulling just from the general pile, the endless, eternal pile of shark footage that National Geographic has collected over the last 100 years. Seriously, this stuff is as unique as it can get. So check that out. We're going to pick tomorrow's episode, one of the last few of the month, the quarter. 64 is the number. 64 corresponds to... we have a series, an animated, scripted series. Not a reality series, not anything else. And we have very few series left. I can count on one hand, and probably now one left. One less. Maybe 3. I don't know. There's not a lot of series left, and I don't think there's a lot coming in the next quarter that were added, that were new anyway. New seasons of stuff we've watched already, but not fully new. And this, I've been watching this, waiting for this for a long time since it was added, and because I've heard good things about it. So we're going to be watching Primos. And watch it's called Primos. I'm pronouncing it wrong because that's what I do. However it is, I'll find out when I watch it tomorrow. When I watch Primos, or Primos? On the next Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.